You're watching Central ITV. It's time now for News at 10.
From ITN News at 10 with Julia Somerville.
Named tonight, the lawyers growing rich on taxpayers' money. A warning to parents over the safety of baby walkers. And the Duchess's recipe for domestic bliss after divorce. Good evening. The Lord Chancellor, Lord Irvine, fuelled his campaign for reform of the legal aid system today with figures showing how much fat cat lawyers make from it. One firm of solicitors was said to have raked in £8.5 million. One barrister was said to have received £500,000 last year from legal aid, in other words, the taxpayer. Lord Irvine's office drew a contrast between such figures and what doctors and nurses are paid from the public purse. Our political correspondent Hugh Pym reports.
With Lord Irvine, it seems controversy is never far away. Tonight he's at war with the legal establishment, which he's the head of. In what looks like a naming and shaming exercise, he's listed the lawyers who earn the most from the government in legal aid.
We believe in freedom of information, and we believe in freedom of information about what people earn from legal aid as well.
And he's got right under the skin of the barristers' organisation, the Bar Council. They claim it's a crude attempt to pillory them, and what's more, Lord Irvine's figures are misleading.
Many of them are wrong, we know that. I think they're published as part of an annual exercise in trying to keep the pot on the boil, that we should be careful about legal aid.
The trial of the Maxwell brothers was one which highlighted the price of legal aid. It was said to have cost the taxpayer more than £10 million to cover the defence bills. Lord Irvine's ranked the top 20 barristers according to their legal aid payments last year. They ranged from £230,000 to £500,000. The top 20 solicitors' firms took between £1.5 million and £3.5 million, but one firm received over £8.5 million. That's Freeth, Cartwright, Hunt, Dickens, based in Nottingham, though Lord Irvine's office point out that some of their £8.5 million went to other firms working with them. The solicitors argue that justice doesn't come cheap, and when you take out the overheads, they make next to no profits out of legal aid. They resent the suggestion that they're ripping off the taxpayer.
Publishing these figures and somehow pouring derision on those who try harder, work long hours for low pay, is just unfair and it's ridiculous.
Lord Irvine, who earlier was conducting the swearing in of new peers in the House of Lords, wants to cut the overall legal aid bill and reform the system. His colleagues say it's wrong that some lawyers should take so much more from the public purse than, for example, doctors and nurses. Lord Irvine's reform plan didn't get off to a good start when last year he said some of Britain's leading lawyers were fat cats. They responded that he himself had been just that when he practiced at the bar. So now, after the row over his wallpaper and criticisms of the power he wields in the government, the Lord Chancellor is locked in what could be a bruising confrontation with Britain's top lawyers over legal aid. Hugh Pym, News at 10, Westminster.
On News at 10 last Thursday, we reported on the famine gathering over a huge swathe of southern Sudan. Tonight, we have more evidence of how desperate things are getting. People are reduced to eating the leaves and berries off the trees, and children are scrabbling for seed intended for planting, seed heavily contaminated with insecticides. Our Africa correspondent Tim Hewitt again flew more than 600 miles into Sudan from the Kenyan border to Pakor for tonight's report.